Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. And guys, we're just going to dive right on in because we got a lot to talk about tonight. We got this, we got the Smackdown Live recap and the preview of the Extreme Rules, the horror show that's going down Sunday night on the WWE Network. So we're just gonna dive right on in, and after all the hoopla and everything else with the opening montage and the whole 9 yards, the first fight of the night was Big E Langston, or Big E, one-on-one against Cesaro, where the winner gets to name the stipulation for the WWE SmackDown Tag Team titles at Extreme Rules. However, you had one of two choices: either a tables match or lock yourselves up in a 15-foot high steel cage. Well, the winner of the bout in 10 minutes and 5 seconds was Cesaro. He gets to choose, and they chose a tables match for the tag team titles. Okay, predictable outcome. We knew Cesaro was going to win the match. Great that he won. Great that it's a tables match because, as a matter of fact, they did put Big E and Kofi through a table a couple of weeks ago, and it's only apropos to make that the match. So, this is a good match. I could say maybe second best fight of the night for me. I'm going to give this about 3 stars. I thought they did a really good match. One definitely was better than this, and we'll get into that a little bit later on tonight. But with that said, Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. This was my third best fight of the night. There were 2 matches that I thought was better than this. But I'll get into that in a moment. But I do agree with the rating. It was 3 stars, no doubt about it. Big E and Cesaro are both so good at what they do that having a bad match seems impossible. They're just too talented to be mediocre. The only real nitpick that I could bring against this bout was that it ended too soon. Kofi Kingston and Shinsuke Nakamura were involved outside the ring, but their presence was never a distraction from what was happening inside. The SmackDown Tag Team title bout at Extreme Rules Sunday night should live up to past encounters between these two teams, especially with the hardcore stipulation, in this case being the tables, which makes complete sense considering that, you know, we've been seeing tables come into play over the last couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting. So very good Hoss fight, as MF likes to say. So, or as we like to say, a man fight, because, you know, we got 2 power guys here, the muscles of both teams. So no surprise here. So for me, the third best fight of the night, solid 3 stars. MF, you had the correct rating, 100%. I agree with everything. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to give this 3 stars as well. I mean, I thought this was a good match, a good way to kick off the show, and yeah, and Fletch said it was a predictable outcome. I mean, and no surprise that it was going to be a tables match. I mean, especially after what happened when, like you said, with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro basically putting Big E and Kofi through the table. So yeah, so no surprise here. So there's really nothing more to say. 3 stars. Let's move on, Fletch.
All right, and then it was a moment of bliss with Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. And we were talking all this week, or the rumors started to swirl earlier today, thanks to Anthony Florio, that a special surprise guest was going to be on SmackDown tonight. Well, that prompted Bayley and Sasha Banks to come out and do a little rebel rousing like they always do. And who was that very special surprise guest? None other than the Raw Women's Champion, the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, showed up. Asuka was on SmackDown. It's been a minute and a day since we've seen the dominant champion, but she showed up and it led to a tag team match as it was not only the SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, but they are the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, so Sasha Banks and Bayley, teaming up against Raw Women's Champion Asuka and number one contender and the woman that will fight Bayley Sunday night for the women's title, Nikki Cross. However, when it was all said and done, a little chicanery, but the champions, the women's champions, the tag team champions, got the victory. 14 minutes and 30 seconds. I hate to say it, man, but it was pulling of the ropes to get the win. Not pulling of the tights, but pulling of the ropes to get the 1, 2, 3 leverage pin. Boo, Florio, go.
Yeah, it would have been a perfect heel commentary moment for me, no doubt about it. But
it would have been perfect because I would have been like, "Oh, come on, miscarriage of justice," and knowing Michael Bullock, he would have absolutely gone all Saxton on us.
Oh, absolutely. He no doubt about it would have. Little spoiler alert. Due to special commitments beyond Bullock's control, we did not have our usual SmackDown chat this evening. But if we did, I know for a fact Bullock would have gone all Saxton because he almost always does whenever Bayley and Sasha are up to no good, especially when it comes to winning bouts. But it is what it is. But all right. The idea of a mystery guest was intriguing, but the reveal was a little underwhelming. It seemed like Alexa Bliss was going to bring out somebody who had a big impact on the women's evolution by the way the segment started. I was honestly thinking Stephanie McMahon, honestly. But no, it ended up being Asuka, even though it was nice to see Raw invade SmackDown. I was pleased to see that. But like I said, it was a little underwhelming, if I'm going to be honest with you. But the match that followed was a nice change of pace. Pairing Cross and Asuka together made for an interesting combination, even if it was just a one-time thing. The bout was typical tag team fare. The women's tag champs showed their usual level of chemistry, while Cross and Asuka found their groove as a pair about halfway through. Surprisingly physical bout, especially when it came to Bayley and Asuka. They were swinging for the fences with their strikes. It may have lasted a little longer than necessary, but all four women helped make it an enjoyable match. And that's why I would say this was maybe the second best fight of the night here. I would give this about 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. I got to tell you, these women have been killing it. They have been really killing it with these matches lately. I mean, we've seen it on Raw and we've seen it on SmackDown here. So, I got a good feeling about both matches. Both of these women's matches have potential to be show stealers come Sunday night. They really do. So that's all I can say on this. 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, even though we didn't have our SmackDown chat this evening, if we had, I'm sure you would have gone full out Saxton mode, considering that Bayley and Sasha, as always, up to no good, and that's why you can't stand them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right on that, Florio. 3.5 stars for me. I mean, I would have given it the full 4, but obviously Bayley and Sasha with a cheap victory with the grabbing the ropes for leverage. I mean, give me a freaking break. This is why I can't stand these two you-know-whats. So, yeah, I really got nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
3.5 stars. I totally agree with you guys. This was an excellent match. This was a great battle. It was nice to see Asuka from Monday Night Raw come over. It was a nice surprise to see her. Honestly, I was feeling the same way, Anthony, because if you notice this whole night, they were talking evolution. They were talking about the women in a brighter light, and there has been rumors that there could be an evolution too. Now, take it for what it's worth. We haven't heard anything official yet, but there has been some talk around the water cooler about a possible Evolution 2.
The week after SummerSlam.
The week after.
Yeah, the dirt sheet said that WWE was planning some big network special to air the week after SummerSlam on August 30th. And a lot of people are, and the hot rumor is that network special could be Evolution 2, knock on wood.
Now, if it is, you remember the first Evolution, and I know a lot of people were a little iffy about it because of where it was going to be held, what the show was going to look like, and the whole 9 yards. But lo and behold, I think we can openly admit, Evolution ended up being a pretty good show. It was a solid show. So this time it's going to be a little different. No Ronda Rousey. No Becky Lynch. Charlotte Flair is now iffy. We don't know if she's going to be a part of Evolution 2.
No Bellas.
You won't have the Bellas this time around because because Becky and the Bellas are all expecting. They're all going to have babies soon. Ronda is basically done with WWE. Charlotte is having surgery, and you don't know how long she's going to be out for. So, I mean, Evolution 2 is going to be a little bit different this year. If they do it, it's going to be a little harder to pull it off. But maybe this is where you bring some of the UK people over. Maybe try to get them over. Like Kaylee Ray, the reigning and defending United Kingdom Women's Champion. Do you bring her? What are we going to see there? I mean, the jury is really out to lunch, and we really going to have to wait and see how that plays out. If they do. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it is or it's not. We're just throwing it out there that there's rumors. So, just take it with a pinch of salt, guys, for now. We're just speculating. It's not official. We haven't heard anything from WWE, but a lot of hints was thrown tonight that could possibly open the door for Evolution 2. Alright, with that said, next up, right after that, we had was, I guess you could say, Miz and Morrison. They were cutting a promo, whatever. Then you had the Firefly Funhouse. Braun Strowman comes out. He has a match with John Morrison. Strowman destroys him in less than 2 minutes. Don't worry, Bullock. You don't have to save your time. You don't have to waste your time on this. We're just going to move right along. Then we had Naomi and Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans wins the match in 2 minutes and 35 seconds with the woman's right. Looks like she's going back to heel, guys. So we don't know about that. Then there was a promo there was a backstage moment with Jeff Hardy and Kayla Braxton. And it led to, I guess you could say, a little bit of a brawl between Sheamus and him. Nice little setup for the barroom brawl that's going down on Sunday night. We'll get into that in a little bit. Leads us to the main event of the evening for the Intercontinental Championship. AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle, winner of the bout in 18 minutes and 10 seconds. And still, the Intercontinental Champion, the phenomenal AJ Styles. But after the match was over, Baron Corbin showed up and laid out Matt Riddle. Bro, you had to do that. Now, here's the thing. This was well after the match was over. This was well after AJ had won. AJ won clean. Then shook the hands with Matt Riddle. There was a handshake after the fight was over. And then that's when Corbin showed up and jumped Matt Riddle. So with that said, Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
I think we can all agree, guys. This is definitely the fight of the night, hands down.
Yes.
Hands down. I mean, yeah, I'll give this about 4, maybe 4.25. I mean, for this was just an unbelievable match. I mean, you get these two in here, you know you're in for something really good, especially when you got that Intercontinental title on the line. I mean, I really thought that Matt Riddle was really going to do it, but AJ Styles somehow pulled it out at the end and winning it clean. I mean, I thought for sure, guys, that with him being a heel, I thought maybe he would win in a cheap way, but no, he won it clean. And then, like you said, after the match, I mean, they actually shook hands. I mean, that to me was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, I thought with the way AJ Styles has been towards Matt Riddle, we thought there was no way that was going to happen. At first, I was going to be like, I don't know, Matt Riddle. I mean, I don't trust the guy, and then somehow it happened. But yeah, that piece of what Baron Corbin had to take a cheap shot after. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I know it's going to lead to something with the Corbin and Riddle. So yeah, fight of the night, hands down, 4 to 4.25. Fletch, it's yours.
Anthony Florio, I want you to do me a huge favor right now. I want you to get your Intercontinental title right now and put it on the screen.
Oh, we need to see it.
Yes.
Do it.
One moment. Okay, hold on just a second.
Yeah, because after he said it, we really need to see it.
I gotta do this. Okay.
That is okay. The reason why I want Florio to hold that belt right now is because tonight the Intercontinental title has relevance again because of AJ Styles and because of Matt Riddle. That match was freaking awesome. 4.5 stars, the fight of the night, and for me, this is why that belt means so much to all of us. It's a different variation, it's a different style, it's a different look. Okay, Floyo, thanks a lot. And the fact of the matter is this. What was the one thing that we were talking about for the whole goddamn time? It was when is the belt gonna become relevant again? And that's the factor. AJ Styles has had a fight already with he had a title after he beat Daniel Bryan. He defended the title against Drew Gulak, had a great match. Put it up against Matt Riddle and had himself almost a 4.5 star fight, a 4.5 star match. AJ Styles has single-handedly brought relevance back to the Intercontinental Championship. Him alone. Not anybody else can say anything about that. And this man who's worn the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, the WWE Championship, who's been a TNA World Heavyweight Championship that brought relevance to the X Division as the X Division Champion, has brought relevance to a title that has not had any relevance in over 10 freaking years. And tell me anybody who hasn't done that fact. This is why
I would have said Seth Rollins myself. I thought Rollins had a good run with it.
Seth. That's a very valid point. Rollins was one, but dude, as far as it comes to SmackDown Live, this is why we wanted AJ Styles. This is why we need AJ Styles. He's the face that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp, and he is straight up phenomenal. Monday Night Raw, you did a major disservice by making the mistakes that you did, and we are feasting for it. And because of that, this is why AJ Styles is the true frontline soldier for the Blue brand, and I will say it right now. All the credit to Matt Riddle, and he's gonna be an unfreaking believable star. And he shined here tonight under the spotlight in the big moment and had a blowout match. This was a real breakthrough for Matt Riddle on the main roster. Tremendous match, but again, AJ Styles keeps redefining himself and defines the moment and the legacy of the Intercontinental title. For the first time in a long time, I can finally say, without a doubt, that the belt has relevance again. And I'm looking forward every time AJ puts that belt on the line, because you know he's going to put his blood, his sweat, and his tears in that ring, in that match, every single time. 4.5 stars, fight of the night. Florio, go. I'm done.
Preach, Fletch.
You wonder why we call him the hype man around here. That's why. Oh my goodness. God, do I really have to follow that? Oh my God, I can't. But I'm.
I was gonna say I don't think you can even do it, Florio.
But I am gonna do my best. In immortal words of Mr. Ben Stein, I shall do my best.
If there's one person that can actually follow it up, it's Florio. Even though I go hype man, he can equally.
Yeah. So but before I do, first things first. What do you think of the belt, gentlemen? What do you think of the belt? Looks good.
It looks freaking awesome.
Come on, Matt, admit it. You were getting the goosies when you saw that thing. That's all I can say. So, yes, I recently purchased a replica old school Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt because I had wanted that for a long, long time. Couldn't afford it, but I finally was able to afford it. So, very grateful for that. And man, it's one of my 3 title belts. But anyways, with all due respect, MF, I think you overscored just a smidge. I got to go with Bullock's rating on this one. 4 to 4.25 stars. I agree with Bullock's rating. It didn't really feel 4.5 to me, but to each his own. Matt Riddle and AJ Styles both have a reputation for putting on excellent matches and exciting matches. So there was a lot of pressure on them to steal the damn show in this bout. This was a well-paced match that made both men look great. But, and here's the reason why I say I got to go with Bullock's rating here. It felt like they were holding back at times. There was nothing wrong with the match. It just didn't get to the level we all know these two are capable of reaching. But then again, 2 commercial breaks definitely had a hand in that too. The finish was the right call as it protects Riddle while allowing Styles to retain the title. This probably won't be the last time they clash over the belt. For now, I think it appears that Matt Riddle and King Corbin are on a collision course. And I think Matt Riddle will ultimately get over on King Corbin. And I'm gonna make a bold prediction right here and right now. I think we're gonna see that Styles Riddle future rematch. I think we're gonna see it in the SummerSlam. And I say that because, gentlemen, as we all know, when it comes to so many WrestleManias in the past, what's the one title that has changed hands at a WrestleMania more than any, including this year?
The Intercontinental Championship.
WWE Championship.
No, WWE title changes hands almost every time at WrestleMania, yeah.
24 times to be exact. 24 times in 36 years.
Yep.
In the SummerSlam. In the SummerSlam, what title has changed hands more than any other? MF, you know this.
Intercontinental.
Especially what, the first 5-6 years of it?
It was Warrior over Honky Tonk, Warrior over Rude, Texas Tornado won, Bret Hart over Mr. Perfect, Bulldog over Bret in '92, which was a 5-star classic. Actually, the first
and my all-time personal favorite SummerSlam match as well.
Yeah, and it wasn't until '93 when the belt was successfully retained, and then the belt got flipped again in '94.
Razor over Diesel. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the infamous Sweet Chin music heard around the world. and
Yep.
um, and then Sean successfully, and then it went into a 2-year dry spell, um, and then we saw a major hot potatoing. 97 Stone Cold over Owen, 98 Triple H over The Rock in that instant classic ladder match, which stole the dang show and overshadowed the Highway to Hell. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yep.
And then Jeff Jarrett beat D'Lo Brown and became a double champion because remember, the IC and European belts were on the line in that bout. And then in 2000, the late, great China Joni Lauer made history becoming by winning that very unique mixed tag team match, her and Eddie Guerrero against Trish Stratus and Val Venus. And then Edge beating Lance Storm, SummerSlam 01. And then RVD when he beat Benoit in 02. And then it went into a major dry spell after that for many years. I don't even remember what. I don't think we didn't see anything until 2008 with that infamous Adam Lee original. And then not much after that. The most recent one I remember was Seth Rollins when he beat Dolph Ziggler in that incredible opener 2 years ago. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Styles and Riddle, I think, are on a collision course for the SummerSlam. And if that happens, I'm going to make the bold prediction right now. I think Matt Riddle will be the next Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. I think if anybody's going to dethrone AJ Styles ultimately, I think it will be the original Bro. And I can't think of a better time to do it than the event where that particular title has changed hands more than any other. And that's the SummerSlam. So nothing more to say on this. That's a future show for another day, that Intercontinental history I just went through. That's why I'm the professor of this show. So 4 to 4.25 stars. It's the fight of the night. Slight overscore, MF, but that's you being the passionate SmackDown guy you are, and I 100% agree with that. So nothing wrong with that, but I think Bullock had the correct rating for this on my end. So great match, though. But I think if they do it again in the SummerSlam, I think it'll be even better because we won't have 2 commercial breaks to kill it. That's the only reason why, with all due respect.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys, so that's it. So let's give our overall review, final thoughts, and I thought this was a solid SmackDown Live. Okay, I get it. 2 bad matches, 2 walkovers, the Strowman match, but it did fill a little bit of the gap because of the Swamp match, the promo before the match. And then, of course, Lacey Evans and Naomi kind of was a wash, but it does establish Lacey once again as a heel, but let's talk about Riddle and AJ. Let's talk about the tag team match. Let's talk about the women's match. Those were 3 solid, good matches. Told a great story. A lot of momentum going into the horror show known as Extreme Rules on Sunday. All in all, good night for SmackDown Live. A lot better than what they did last week. Last week was definitely a punt. This time they made a return, and we gotta sell a pretty decent investment on tonight's show. I'm not gonna say it was a straight touchdown, but we gained a few yards on this play, and we did pretty good. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
But before I give my overall review, a quick question for you guys: was it just me, or did you guys notice at the beginning of the show, with all those promos and vignettes, didn't it have a feel like a Saturday Night's Main Event type feel?
I thought so too. I was thinking about it. Yeah, it definitely. It felt like It felt like a 1980s Saturday Night's Main Event type thing going. Yeah, I was sensing it too for a little bit.
I got that feeling. I mean, when you had AJ and then Riddle, and then when everybody was saying what they were saying, and I just had that feel. I'm like, wait a minute, this has the feel of an old school Saturday Night's Main Event from the late 80s, early 90s, back in the Vince McMahon and Jesse the Body Ventura days. I mean, that was my goosey moment of the night. MF, you had your goosey moment of the night at the main event. But anyways, a much more singularly driven show than last week's fiasco of a wrestling show. The main event was the focal point, and the WWE made it a point to show that other wrestlers cared about this title. True, that means very little because this likely won't happen again anytime soon. But for the episode itself, it helped gel together all the pieces that we saw. they are attempting to bring Lacey and Naomi back into the fold, and I'm all for Naomi, but Lacey never really left long enough for us to care. And they stripped her of the only characteristic people seem to be sticking with. Miz and Morrison aren't really funny together, and I don't know who keeps telling them they are. I know they're funny, I've seen it, but their return has been riddled with subpar and juvenile humor, and that doesn't fit the product. Then again, we have Jeff Hardy insisting that he faced Sheamus in a barroom brawl, but all in all, this was a very big improvement over last week. If I had to put a number on it, I would have to give it a solid 7 out of 10. I mean, we had 3 quality matches. The main event stole the show. The women's tag match was very good. And then you had a solid Haas fight with Big E and Cesaro. And that Bray Wyatt vignette when he was Follow the Buzzards Bray in the Firefly Funhouse, that was well produced. I thought that came out really good. But we did have a couple of cutouts, with Braun Strowman squashing Morrison and Lacey Evans and Naomi. Nothing really more to say there. So, but yeah, solid night for SmackDown. A huge improvement over that last show we had a week ago. So nothing really more to say. If I had to put a number on it, it would be a solid 7. So no question about it. So Michael Bullock, wrap it up, and then we'll get into our Extreme Rules preview.
Yeah, this was definitely a lot better show than what we saw last week with SmackDown. I mean, and I agree. If we gave it a rating, it would be a 7 out of 10. I mean, it was definitely a step in the right direction from last week. So there's really nothing more to say. Now let's get to the our preview of the horror show at Extreme Rules.
Yes, indeed. We're going to do that right now, guys. So just give me 1 minute. As always, the Extreme Rules Horror Show is going down this Sunday night. Once again, from the WWE Performance, from the WWE Performance Center. Originally was supposed to be in San Jose, California. But it is going to be at the Performance Center. And here is the official fight card. So, we are going to start it off with the SmackDown Tag Team titles in a tables match, I should say. The New Day versus Cesaro and Nakamura. I'm going to say it. I think the New Day is going to win the belts. I think they're going to keep the titles a little while longer. I just feel like this is going to be one of those. It's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a solid title fight. But I just don't see anything that would make it any more crazier than what it was. So I'm going to go with New Day to win. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, New Day have only defended their SmackDown tag titles twice since Big E won that unique triple threat match to kick off their latest run. One of those 2 defenses was the no contest against Cesaro and Nakamura on last week's SmackDown. Cesaro and Nakamura have been wonderfully positioned as true threats to the champions, and a tables match is one of the ultimate cheap ways to pull up a title switch. But this does not feel like the time or the feud to take the belts off New Day, especially after Cesaro and Nakamura have dominated all of their recent matches. New Day should hold on to the belt heading into the SummerSlam, so I agree, MF. Winners and still the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Big E, Kofi Kingston, the New Day. Nothing more to say. Bullock, are we going to make it unanimous?
Yeah, I'm going to make it unanimous, and I'm also going to go with the New Day to retain the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So there's really nothing more to add to it. So let's move on to the next match, Fletch.
All right, and it's going to be Apollo Crews versus MVP for the United States Championship. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
Yeah. All right, just got to get back into position here. Okay, here we go. Apollo Crews won the U.S. title on Memorial Day. He has since defended it against Kevin Owens the night after. The week after, and about that ended in a no contest, and on the Backlash kickoff show where he defeated Andrade. WWE finally pulled the trigger and put a championship on Crews, and he has spent less than 20 minutes in the ring defending it. MVP is a great choice for Cruz to feud with because he can carry the feud on his own with his huge personality. But WWE should know to not pull the belt off Cruz without giving him a real chance to be champion. And I think we'll finally see Apollo Crews finally hold that brand new United States Heavyweight Championship belt, which is now available on WWEshop.com. It became available this past week. So it's in stock now. All you could do was pre-order it. Now you can go for it. So winner and still United States Heavyweight Champion, it is Apollo Crews. Michael Bullock, I think we'll finally see Apollo Crews rightfully hold that brand new belt that MVP unveiled some time ago.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Apollo Crews to retain the United States Championship and finally hold that new United States Championship belt that MVP unveiled last week. So yeah, so there's really nothing more that needs to be said. Fletch, it's yours.
I'm in an agreement. Apollo wins. I think it would be a major disservice if Apollo drops the belt here. Even though I do like MVP, I like the gimmick he's playing right now, but Apollo deserves this. This is his moment, man. And he hasn't had that many great moments on with the belt yet. And so this would be awesome if he should some way, somehow win the match and keep the title. So, and finally get his hands on that brand new United States title. He hasn't even gotten a chance to hold the belt yet. So, I mean, it would be awesome if he does. So, alright guys. I must stress on this next one. Viewer discretion is advised. And I mean this with the utmost sincerity. You may want to look away on this match. It is Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins, eye for an eye match. Now, the only way the match can be won is when one competitor extracts an eye of their opponent. This will not be PG whatsoever. Michael Bullock, you gotta lead off, bro. I feel so sorry for you right now.
Oh boy. I don't know. I don't even know if any of us are gonna want to watch this match. I mean, it's just, it's. I don't know what the right word is. I think it's just too. Well, I can't even think of it. So, yeah, this has become personal, obviously, because of what Seth Rollins did months ago when with that incident with that what he did pushing Rey Mysterio's eye right onto the steps and that sinister look on the face of Seth Rollins and ever since then that's when Rey Mysterio wanted the payback. So yeah, this is not going to be for the weak of heart. I can tell you this right now. I'm not even gonna watch it because I think this is just going to be too gruesome to watch. So, but I gotta pick a winner here. So I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio to win this one. But I would not be surprised if Seth Rollins wins. But either way, it's please, Fletch, take it before I can't even go any further with this.
All right, no problem. I'm actually going to disagree with you, Anthony. I'm going to disagree with you, Michael Bullock. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins to win the match. I think Seth is going to win the match. I think he's going to get the job done. This one is going to be very interesting to see, but at the end, I got to say it. I'm going to go with Seth, so nothing more to say. Winner of the bout, Seth Rollins. Anthony, it's yours.
And you wonder why they're calling this event the horror show. This is going to be a horror show. Let's not kid ourselves. Parental discretion. Oh yes, it is strongly advised. No questions about it. One of the most unique and controversial stipulations in WWE history has been added to this long-term feud between one of the great superstars of all time in Mysterio and a future Hall of Famer in his own right in Rollins. Putting aside that stipulation for a moment, this feud has already stretched months. The seeds of it were actually planted back even earlier in last December and does not look to be ending at this juncture. With it clear that WWE will blow off Mysterio Rollins at SummerSlam next month, the result of this match must continue the feud. And the only way I see that working is with Rollins winning and, extracting Mysterio's eye. Considering they will either be using a prosthetic or going full CGI, actually predicting this bout is difficult. I believe it will be storyline heavy, perhaps with Dominic Mysterio getting involved and somehow forcing his father to fight for his son's freedom for the second time in his young life. Go back to SummerSlam 2005, Eddie Guerrero, that infamous custody of Dominic ladder match, which stole the dang show that night. So Rollins, I believe, is going to win this. I agree with MF. And they're going to have another big match where Mysterio finally gets over him at SummerSlam. I'm just not exactly sure how that's going to happen. But MF, you're absolutely right. I 100% agree with you. I'm going with Seth Rollins to win this match as well. And and we can't stress it enough. Parental discretion, strongly advised. So, nothing more to say, MF. Let's move on to our next match.
All right, and we now shift gears to the Wyatt Swamp match, as it will be Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Worlds. Yes, the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt goes one-on-one with the Universal Champion Braun Strowman. I'm going to give it to Bray. I think Bray Wyatt will win the match, and here's the reason why. The title is not on the line, so you can easily give Bray the win. This will not hurt Braun. All it's just going to do is it's just going to elevate the match to SummerSlam, and then we're going to get the big one. The Fiend versus Strowman for the Universal title. To give Bray the win here would open the door for Bray to get at least one more shot at the Universal title. He lost as regular Bray, as Firefly Funhouse Bray, lost that, so it kind of knocked him out of the picture. To win this match would be a championship committee moment. This would open the door for Bray to get a shot at the title again, and it also opens the door for the Fiend to come through. And that's where we could see. Or maybe they had Bray go in during the fight, maybe gets thrown into the swamp, into that muck, into that murky water. The Fiend shows up, and goodbye Strowman, you're gone. And he loses that way. So there's a number of ways that they could play this, but I think Bray Wyatt will win the match, and it will elevate him to get a shot at the Universal title at SummerSlam. So, Anthony, it's yours.
100% agree with everything, MF. No question. Right from the moment it was announced that this rematch was not for the Universal Championship, our minds were made up. Bray Wyatt is absolutely coming out victorious here. On his turf, Wyatt will push the record between the two former Wyatt family teammates to 1-1, forcing the rubber match in the SummerSlam, the same show in which Wyatt debuted the Fiend persona 1 year ago. And on that night, I fully expect the Fiend to regain the Universal Championship. So there's no question about it. Winner of the match, Bray Wyatt. Michael Bullock, I'm sure we're going to make this unanimous again.
Yeah, I'm going with Bray Wyatt to win this match, no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, like you said, there are a number of ways they can go about it, but but either way, no matter how they do it, I think it's going to end up with Bray Wyatt winning this match. So yeah, nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
We now shift gears to the Smackdown Women's title. It will be Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
Yeah, it's nice that Nikki Cross is getting another opportunity to challenge for Bayley's SmackDown Women's title, and featuring Cross more is a good thing in WWE's women's division. But she is not built up enough right now to be champion, nor is the timing or storyline right to make the switch. Bayley is currently doing the best work of her career alongside Sasha Banks, and the extended long-term teases to their eventual blow-up make for the best and longest storyline WWE has going right now. The culmination of that should be when Bayley eventually loses the title, or Sasha realizes she's the only one who has still not received an opportunity after all this time. But having Bayley drop the title first while leaving them the women's tag team champions is not the right booking. So whether you like her or not, and we all know Bullet cannot stand her, winner and still the SmackDown Women's Champion, I'm afraid it's going to have to be Bayley Dose Straps for now. So Bayley retains. Michael Bullock, I know it pains you, but I'm sure you got to agree.
Yeah, even though, like you said, it's gonna pain for me to have to say this, but Bayley is gonna still be your SmackDown Women's Champion. I mean, yeah, you know the blow up is eventually gonna happen, and that and that's somewhere down the line. That's when we're gonna get Sasha versus Bayley. When will it happen? Who knows? So, Fletch, I give it to you.
I gotta say Bayley. I don't think there's really much argument here, so we're just gonna move right along. Next up we have is the Raw Women's title on the line, as it will be Sasha Banks going up against Asuka. Michael Bullock, you get to lead off on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we know the history of these two. I mean, they've had some really good matches before, but I mean, part of me is concerned that there is a chance that Sasha Banks could do the impossible and win the Raw Women's title. But Asuka is the best thing going on Monday Night Raw right now, and taking the title off of her would make absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I'm gonna say this right now: winner and still the Raw Women's Champion, the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. So, Fletch, I give it to you.
At the very beginning, when they announced the match, I was dreaming and praying to see Sasha win this belt. But the more that it's starting to develop, and the more that it keeps going, week after week, I'm coming to the realization more and more and more that Asuka's gonna keep the belt and successfully defend. I would have loved to have seen Sasha win this, and you know I do. But I gotta be realistic. There's a bigger storyline down the line. I think Sasha is gonna fight with Bayley over the SmackDown Women's title, and I think that's gonna start that way. But for Asuka, if you notice on that Monday Night Raw post show not too long ago, Kairi Sane asked for a title match with Asuka. She asked to fight her after she beat Sasha. So I could see the Kabuki Warriors implode over the Raw Women's title just as much as Sasha and Bayley could implode over the SmackDown Women's title. Because of that, the the winner of the bout and still the Raw Women's Champion is Asuka. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, there's a lot that we need to address when it comes to this particular bout. First things first, yes, I heard about that as well, about Kairi Sane. The dirt sheets have been saying recently that she might be on her way out and that she might be moving back to Japan to be with her new husband. And, so she can, be the good wife and all that. And it would be a damn shame because she's just so fun to watch and she's become a personal favorite of mine since her NXT days. But, and for that to happen, Asuka would have to retain. Now, I will not lie. I am worried. I am worried considering the fact that we have Bayley dose straps. There's that small part of me that thinks we could get Sasha 2 belts or 2 belts banks or whatever they're calling it. But here's the thing. I mean, the smart money is on Asuka to retain here. But for all the teasing and building to Sasha and Bayley, how much better would it be if they held every piece of gold on Raw and SmackDown? Sasha winning the title here would allow her to fully play up that she is not second fiddle in their friendship. Before Shayna Baszler made her return this past Monday night on Raw, there were not a whole host of interesting matches for Asuka as champion. Even with Baszler back on TV, the most interesting women's title program available might be, keyword might be a champion versus champion match between Bayley and Sasha that headlines either SummerSlam or the still unannounced and heavily rumored Evolution 2. However, while I can certainly see that scenario playing out, the prospect of 2 major women's title showdowns at SummerSlam featuring the Sasha Bayley implosion for the SmackDown women's title and maybe a rejuvenated Shayna Baszler taking another shot at the Raw women's title against the woman whom she dominated at Elimination Chamber is too good to pass on. So at the end of the day, I'm going to say Asuka will retain as that aforementioned implosion with Sasha and Bayley kicks into high gear heading into SummerSlam. So I will go with Asuka as the winner and still the Raw Women's Champion. There's nothing more to say. MF, it's did Bullock go? Bullock started it, right?
Bullock started it, so yeah, we're off to the main event as it will be Dolph Ziggler going up against Drew McIntyre for the WWE title in a stipulation that will be named by Ziggler. He has not tipped his hand on what that match is going to be yet, but it does not matter whatsoever. Drew McIntyre will win the match. He will successfully defend the title. Does not matter what the stipulation is. Drew will win and keep the belt. Anthony, go.
Agreed. There's no real curiosity as to who leaves this match as champion here. The only drama present is in what will be the stipulation. Dolph Ziggler is not ending the run of Drew McIntyre at an Extreme Rules show after showing up on Raw out of nowhere and demanding a title shot despite not being at that level in recent history. Instead, this is a stay busy feud for McIntyre until he gets into his big SummerSlam program, Randy Orton, where there is some threat of losing the title. The match should be a fun ride, however, even if we have no clue what it will be at this time. We're not going to know that until Sunday night, I'm sure. So, but yes, winner and still the WWE champion, the new frontline soldier of Monday Night Raw, the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre, rightfully so. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I say McIntyre gets by here, and then I think it'll set up that heavily rumored big money title match with Randy Orton in the SummerSlam. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. No doubt about it. And also agreeing with the fact that Drew McIntyre is going to walk out still the WWE champion, no matter what the stipulation is going to be in this match. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, I think we should wrap it up.
All right, and we will wrap it up on Sunday night. We will have a recap of the very show, and as always, Anthony, Michael Bullock, and myself will give our thoughts on the show. And on Monday night on Ridiculously Raw, we will have Anthony Florio, and he's going to give us the recap on Slammiversary, the Impact Wrestling show that's going down tomorrow night. That's right. For all you fans on pay-per-view, on Fight TV, you'll get to see Impact Wrestling. I know, Anthony, you said you were going to get it, so enjoy the show, guys. And until then, on Monday night, we'll have that. And on Thursday is the return. Tuesday, that's right. Tuesday is the return of Strictly Sports, as we will be covering Major League Baseball, the preview for baseball. So the 60-game sprint begins on Tuesday. So that's it, guys. So we're done for the night. For Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. You guys know the routine. Share the video, like it, and all the previews. No Mikey's Mindset. We'll save it for another night. Until then, thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. So long for now. Bye-bye.